And Johnny, let's move on into the next topic as we are talking about Spider-Man. Before we do, though, make sure to go rate and review the Rick and Johnny podcast on iTunes and Apple Podcasts. Every 5-star rating that we get really helps us out and gets us into the ear holes of more and more people. But Johnny, we're talking about Spider-Man.
Get that out of my eye holes.
So, well, speaking of that,
oh yeah,
thing I didn't mention earlier on, I don't know how that triggered this in my head, but basically,
is it a Rick and Morty reference?
Basically, we're getting season 4 at the end
November.
Of the year. So there's. I didn't mention that earlier. We are getting.
We got some great news about this.
With their trailer. We also got the last week, if we did a podcast, we were going to watch the It trailer. We got a new It Chapter 2 trailer that I remember showing you that looks creepy as fuck. But basically,
too.
Last week, we also got a Spider-Man trailer. And there's a main question from the trailer that people are circling about. But the first thing I want to ask you... Yeah, dragons.
As you're going circling, and I guess.
But basically, the thing I will ask you first is just kind of as a preliminary, because we didn't get to talk about it last week. What were your thoughts of the trailer, the new Far From Home Spider-Man trailer?
You
really seen it?
I don't know if I did watch it. I just
It's been a long time.
It's been a long time.
Okay.
I'm also sort of excited, and I had quite an interesting weekend last weekend. That's why.
Okay. For this time, Johnny, I'm giving you, as Spider-Man would always say,
everybody gets one.
Everybody gets one. I fucking saw it.
I'm excited for it.
I was
from what I remember of it.
Fucking excited for it. But the thing that got me thinking is what we're going to talk about right now.
Should we just say spoilers just in case we say something from Endgame?
Yeah, if you haven't seen Endgame, spoilers, but
I mean, the trailers do it as well. Just to be courteous.
The ban has been lifted, so at this point, now that the ban is lifted, and now even the Endgame trailers are giving you lines from the movie that you're not going to, you'll love it 3000. Come on. The only people that are going to understand that
people
are the people
who saw
that watched
Endgame.
the flipping movie. That's just one thing that triggered me over the weekend. But basically... Spoilers for Endgame, if you haven't seen it, potentially. There, you've been warned. So the thing that everyone is talking about is the one scene in the trailer where Spider-Man comes face-to-face with Magneto. Not Magneto.
Mysterio?
I'm like, why did I say Magneto?
I'm like, we don't have that yet.
This has been, I'm going to pull a Sean here. This has been a train wreck of an opening. But basically, to quote Bert Kreischer from Secret Time, basically, this is finger right at your butt at the orgy, Johnny. What are we going to do? We're going to back away, or are we going to push right in? We're going to push right in, and we're going to push through this. But basically, they come face-to-face with Mysterio, and the big thing from it is Mysterio says, well, I'm from a different universe, and on my universe, I am the version of Spider-Man. Well, basically, I am the hero, and we don't have you in my universe, which everyone's like, whoa, multiverse. What's going on, man? Here's the first question I want to ask you, just to get it out of the way, because this is what I think is the more likely answer. Is he lying?
I think he's full of shit.
There's no multiverse.
There's no multiverse. Okay. I'm on the wagon right now. There is no multiverse. This is him being classic Mysterio. Hey, we said spoilers. Iron Man's dead.
And
Cap is no longer.
They put that right at the beginning of this trailer. They did.
And so, I mean, if you saw the trailer, then you already know this. Cap is no longer a superhero. It's Falcon, and he'll be eventually Captain America. But this is a time for, I can pretend to be a hero right now.
Yeah.
And this is classic Mysterio. And I think I forgot what comics, it actually says it in the article. Amazing Spider-Man #2 from 1963. He's deceitful. He pretends to be a superhero for the fame he thinks he deserves.
Yeah.
And this is Marvel doing their thing of making it look freaking awesome, of Mysterio's fake theatrics.
With the elementals.
And the elementals could be like Hydro Man, Sandman, and then I don't know who the fire one would be.
I don't think so.
And it could just be fake props. It could be one or the other. I'm saying it could be one or the other. I'm not saying it is one or the other.
Here's what I am like.
Or not saying it is one.
First off, what we're going to do with this is talk about what we think it is because we're on the same page.
Yeah.
Then talk about what it could be. Okay. That's fun as shit. But basically, I'm in the same boat as you. He is lying.
I mean, this is a perfect opportunity to say this, though, because, like, no one knows what the effects of the time travel would have been. Yeah. So it's like, hey, a time rift opened.
Well, now that everyone is back.
Yeah.
Everyone is back from being
It's 5 years later.
Mm-hmm. And, like, that for me is, like, I think he's lying, and I'm also on the boat of the elementals are visual effects. And the thing is, I don't know who it's going to be, but I have a feeling it's in the one Screen Rant article that I read this weekend, where basically the beginning of the article, the headline was just all the proof that Mysterio is lying about the multiverse.
Yeah.
And one of the things they mention when it comes to, a set visit scene suggests the elementals aren't the final villain. So basically, what I think is going to happen is Mysterio teams up with Spider-Man. Basically, we got to take down these elementals. We find out that the elementals are basically brought up by Mysterio, and either one of two things is going to happen. Either Mysterio and Spider-Man are going to go, like, this is the more obvious one, that they go head-to-head, and that's where we get our carnival scene at the end. Mm-hmm. Because after the elementals, they find out that Mysterio is lying, then that turns Mysterio and Spider-Man against each other, and it also gives Spider-Man, I'm going to say, a reason to wear the black suit. Because think about it from the trailers. Mm-hmm. When the elemental is by the London Bridge, Spider-Man is in his wingsuit.
Yeah.
He's in his normal Spidey suit. So once Mysterio goes head-to-head with Spider-Man, that's maybe why S.H.I.E.L.D. is like, hey, we got to give you the stealth suit, because then he won't know it's you. It's not a fact of, like, we got to make sure Spider-Man is not, that people don't know you're Spider-Man. Come on, people are going to know you're Spider-Man. Yeah. You're fucking sticking to a wall.
Swinging from webs.
Basically. But I feel like that suit then is then made for the final battle with Mysterio because of the type of things he brings to the table. The other outside one is that there's a random bigger baddie that comes in the end. But I think that's unlikely.
So my money is on that. The storyline's going to be Spider-Man is going to be working with him. They're going to be trying to take down the elementals. Elementals, remember in the scene where they're kind of underground with Nick Fury? That's going to be that big control panel right there. That's how he's controlling everything. Yeah. He's probably going to be one of those guys that, no, don't touch this. This is tech from my world.
Basically.
Type shit.
But the only thing I will say is
later on, it's going to be Spider-Man alone that finds out you've been making these elementals the whole time. Like, you've been putting everyone in danger, blah, blah, blah. And it's going to be a final battle of, you're not going to take this from me type thing.
So here's the question I have for you then, because Nick Fury is sitting at one of those computers.
Yeah. He wasn't at the computer, though, I don't think. Was he?
I believe he was. I'm going to look it up again.
Oh, maybe
trailer,
he was.
But I thought that Nick Fury was at the
I'm going to watch it right now
computer
while we're talking
in
about
that.
This. Just so I can see it,
because that's what I got, was the whole of, it's S.H.I.E.L.D. and their computers.
It could be. Maybe I was wrong.
I mean, it could happen because, so Nick Fury is at the...
Where's YouTube? There it is.
Is at the computer. So the same thing you did in the Batman segment, I'm going to do for you. I'll just hand you my tablet when I pause it. But see, he is...
Okay.
He's kind of and that's the thing to me where it's like, if he's sitting that close to the computer, and even what's on it looks like
global
S.H.I.E.L.D.
tracking
images.
shit. Yeah.
Unless, I wouldn't put it past Mysterio to have a separate set of computers.
That's true.
Somewhere else. Like, I'm not saying the theory is
wrong,
kaput.
just that one scene.
Yeah, exactly. But here's the question I want to throw out. Is because of Spider-Man and the movie deal that we have, unless I am forgetting something and forgetting a new deal that came out, the last thing I remember is Marvel had 3 movies with Spider-Man. They had 3. They had Homecoming, the Avengers movies, and then Far From Home. If I'm not mistaken. Maybe Spider-Man solo film, a third Spider-Man solo film, but I thought it was only a 3-movie contract with the Avengers one counting.
The Avengers one did count because I was wondering if the Avengers one counted because it's not. I thought maybe it was 3 Spider-Man solo films.
Yeah,
And it's like, hey, since we have them under contract, we're going to use them for these movies as well.
Here, let me see.
I could be wrong, but I mean, it could be that.
Sony, Marvel.
Oh, and the one thing I was going to say as well about the black suit.
Go ahead.
And if it's, I don't know, we're talking the stealth suit, right? Something tells me that's like in the middle of it somewhere where he's like actually like trying to figure out about stuff about Mysterio.
Say that one more time.
So his stealth suit specifically.
So he's trying to spy on Mysterio.
He's like
basically.
that's like the suit he's gonna be wearing when he's like spying on Mysterio. Is my money's on. Because I think they're gonna have him in sort of a classic Spider-Man suit at the like end part where he fights Mysterio.
So what I'm looking here is. So this is from Collider. So what does Marvel Studios get in return out of this deal? Besides getting to play with a toy they've been eyeing for a very long time, they get to use Tom Holland's Peter Parker in a set number of MCU movies, 5 in total.
Okay.
So that means Spider-Man Homecoming takes place in the MCU. Then you have Captain America Civil War, that's 2. Infinity War,
3.
Avengers 4, Far From Home.
So that's 5 movie deal.
So this would be the end of the that's what I thought I remembered, that this was the last movie of the deal unless they re-upped it. And here's the thing I am going to throw out there as this is the unlikely one.
Yeah.
But to me it's like this is the top unlikely, where it's like if any of the unlikelies were going to come true, this is it. Is this basically Sony and Marvel working together, where Marvel knew, hey, we were going to do time travel in Endgame. That kind of opened some stuff up. Like Steve Rogers has done some shit. Like Loki is now loose in alternate timelines. And basically what the Russos said when talking about Steve Rogers is basically when we saw him with Peggy, that was a different reality. And then he came back to the main reality to give Sam the shield. If that is true, taking it as his word, because I know there's some people that are like, boom, brain explosion, because it's too much to handle. It's too hot to handle, from the Power Rangers commercials. But what if this whole multiverse thing is to set up not only for the X-Men to come in, where maybe the X-Men were an alternate reality and the two collide, but to me on the Sony side of Sony saying, cool, I like that you're doing that. This is how we bring Tom Holland back to us and make him part of the Spider-Verse. Where basically it's like, no, it wasn't multiverses they were talking about. It was the Spider-Verse. And he gets thrown into basically everything that they're doing on the Spider-Man side. Was why didn't we get Spider-Man and Venom? They were in different universes. And now Tom Holland is going to be thrown into that universe after Far From Home.
I mean, they could be doing it that way. I feel like it's not necessarily that, because I don't know.
Because eventually Sony's going to want to bring Tom Holland back.
Yeah, they're going to want him back, or they're going to want Spider-Man back at some point. But unless they decide to either re-up the deal and let Marvel keep doing the films for them.
Yeah.
Because I feel like they got a nice kind of seat right now.
Yeah.
Of, hey, make these Spider-Man films for us. We get all the profits from the films. You guys just get to make off the merch.
And they could always do... I thought there was a rumor out there that they wanted to do a live-action Spider-Verse film. Maybe this is, hey, you guys are opening the tale for multiverses only in the sense of, hey, we're going to come up with a new deal. Spider-Man is going to stay in the MCU, but we're going to be able to take him when we do a Spider-Verse movie. Or we can take him and use him in our movies because we've established that they're in different universes. And that's why the events of Endgame didn't affect Venom. Or I should say the effects of Infinity War didn't affect Venom. different universes.
Yeah. I mean, that could very well be part of it. I mean, Venom came before Infinity War, did it not?
After.
It was after Infinity War? Oh.
Because that was everyone's big thing of like, how does the snap affect Venom? Because Venom was October 5th. Infinity War was in September.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know. It could just be separate universes because they don't really mention...
I'm sorry, April. It was April 20...
Well, that was... Yeah, I was going to say it was April.
April 2018, and then Venom was October 2018.
Okay.
So it was well after Infinity
It would have had
War.
to... The snap would have had to affect it. I mean, unless... Just because it came out after, it doesn't mean it's not, like, during.
But they didn't say... I'd have to rewatch Venom. They didn't make a big deal about it being in a different timeline. It felt like they made it towards like it is present day.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm like, it doesn't mean it's not like, just because it's happening that month doesn't mean it's happening that month. Just because we're seeing that movie that month doesn't mean it's happening that month.
So you're saying it happened before the snap?
That could be going on before the snap. It just means it happened that year.
I think
just saying in sense.
The more likely is that it's a different universe rather than
for sure.
You're right, but I would put my money on it being a different universe.
But I just have a hard time Marvel setting up, when I say Marvel, obviously Disney Marvel is setting up for everyone else.
They're not though.
Well, I'm saying
this is not them setting up for everyone else. It's basically we already knew what we were gonna do. I'm talking we as Disney Marvel.
Yeah.
We had our plan. You're not affecting our plan. This actually works better for us because now your movies stay with you, and basically like the Venoms and everything, I don't have to shoehorn anything into my movies. We can basically do our own thing and kind of bounce Spider-Man between them in a happy kind of relationship because my movies won't affect your movies and your movies won't affect my movies because we're establishing different realities or different universes, especially with Sony doing their whole Spider-Verse thing.
Yeah, I still don't believe the multiverse thing, though. Right now I'm still going to ride the train of it's not multiverse. Mysterio's lying about it. And we're like, because right now Marvel's going to probably just worry about like, hey, if we don't have Spider-Man anymore, we can't use Spider-Man anymore. They're probably going to push to get that deal, though.
Yeah,
again,
to get him more
so we can
films.
give him more films because, again, it's benefiting Sony to have Marvel doing the movies for them because Disney's fronting the money to make the movie,
and
Sony's getting the money from the movie.
And in Far From Home, the trailer, the cop does say, "What are you going to be the new Iron Man?" Like that is basically a line of like, is Peter Parker going to be the new face of the MCU?
Are you guys going to let us keep him?
Yeah, basically.
Or keep using him and not keep him because that's probably a lot more money. But it's like, hey, let us keep using him?
Here's the thing and I don't think we're going to get this, but this just came into my head. This would be kind of funny.
Huh.
Imagine if Far From Home happened, right? And we find out Mysterio's a big fake. He was lying about the whole thing. And Spider-Man thinks, oh, well, there's no multiverses. And then he gets back into his room. It's a post-credit scene where he's in his room, kind of like the one where we saw like the Spidey signal on the top of his wall. What the hell is that on my wall? And he goes to reach for it like it's a smudge. And it's really like a wormhole. And it basically, you see Spider-Ham's hand come out and grab him and pull him in. And it's basically, whoa, the multiverse didn't exist. Boy, do I got a lot to tell you. And it ends. Like, basically, like a Spider-Man isn't, like, you thought there were no multiverses. Well, guess what, kid? There's a Spideyverse.
I'd accept that one. I don't know about Spider-Ham reaching in, but...
that's just the one that I could see, like the cartoonish hand, like grabbing him and pulling him in, because that's the thing. I'll ask you. When they do a Spideyverse...
Give me Nicolas Cage noir.
When they do Spideyverse 2, and let's say Tom Holland Spider-Man is able to be in it, or is going to be in it, do you do it live action or cartoon again?
Ooh, that's the tough one.
Do you bring the Spideyverse cast into live action with Tom Holland, or bring Tom Holland into the animation?
What if you kind of jump it a little bit. So like when you do Tom Holland, if you're like they go into Tom Holland's universe, it's all live action. So you got like Nicolas Cage and Spider-Man Noir. You got Spider-Ham's gonna be a little bit different.
What is it? Jake Johnson was the one Peter Parker.
Maybe, yeah. And then you got John
the depressed
Mulaney.
Peter Parker. Also, spoilers for Into the Spider-Verse. Didn't think we were getting that.
Yeah, I didn't think so either. But like you'll have like John Mulaney. Well, they'll have to figure out how they're gonna do Spider-Ham. Like CGI, more realistic pig.
CGI, yeah, exactly. With basically the same way they did Rocket.
What if it's like just like he actually turns into a regular pig and like, oh, this is unfortunate.
This is unfortunate. I had more mobility in the other universe. Can we go back, please?
Can we go back, guys?
Can we go back, please? Last two things I want to mention is, first off, I want to mention a fan theory that would be amazing that I don't think that we're going to get.
Okay.
Nick Fury being the chameleon in disguise.
Ooh.
Basically working with Mysterio to lure Spider-Man in.
That would be cool.
And the reason why this one, I don't think it happens.
I don't think so, but that would be cool.
But the reason why I think it has legs is not only did the chameleon make an appearance in the first edition that Mysterio was in, but also, like it says here in the article, the plot of Spider-Man Far From Home seems vaguely odd from the trailers. Mysterio, one of Spider-Man's most infamous enemies from the comics, is positioned as his sidekick. Nick Fury has taken the multiverse case to Spider-Man as opposed to a more qualified Avenger like Doctor Strange. It all seems highly unlikely. And the thing that I think about is, yes, you could play the card of like, well, Doctor Strange is busy with other shit, fixing other shit, basically.
Doctor Strange is busy with Doctor Strange 2.
Yeah, with Doctor Strange 2. But the thing is, too, of like, I read that and I was like, yeah, that raises a good point. If there's a multiverse, don't you think Doctor Strange would be the first person you go to?
Yeah.
Like, oh man, there's a multiverse. Let's see what Spider-Man thinks.
Right? No, let's not go with someone who may know. Or like, hey, maybe Bruce Banner might, because he's got the big fucking brain.
Exactly. It's
At least
like,
someone.
No, let's go to this
high
school
schooler
kid. Yeah, let's see what he's thinking. This high schooler that just got pulled back from not existing.
Exactly.
Yeah, let's see what he thinks.
Let's not ask some more qualified heroes in this. No, let's go ask Spider-Man.
Watch, we see the film, and when that scene unveiled, well, we went to go see Doctor Strange, but diddle, where I will basically be like, touche, Marvel, you got me.
You son of a bitch.
You got me. But wouldn't that be cool?
Yeah.
Basically, the
well,
chameleon.
I saw like a spoof one of I think it's called Hishi does videos of like how it should have ended. And they did a Spider-Man trailer. It's like, what about Thor? Off-world. What about Captain Marvel? Not available. It's gotta be you, Spider-Man.
It's gotta be you.
What about Doctor Strange? Or didn't Falcon become Captain America? And this, and then it ends that way.
Yeah.
It's like,
I mean,
like there's so many other. I'm sorry. There's a lot of other heroes that are kind of more qualified,
more capable,
more qualified. They know more. They're more ready. For shit like this.
That does make me think. In the trailer, does he mention Doctor Strange?
I have to watch it again, but I don't think he does.
Because I remember but what about Thor? Off-world. What about Captain Marvel? Unavailable. I don't think they mentioned Doctor Strange. I know they can play into it to like, hey, he's busy messing with Dormammu, or like you said, he's busy doing Doctor Strange 2 things. Yeah, that was just one where I saw it and I was like, that would be perfect. Like the chameleon, like there's other ones too that I think would be cool. But
I mean, would that give us our Sinister Six, or are we missing one still?
It would be pretty damn close. Because we would have Vulture.
Yeah.
We would have Scorpion. We would have Chameleon.
Mysterio.
And Mysterio. That means all we would have to set up.
We had the Tinkerer too. Yeah. And Shocker.
But all we would have to set up is Doc Ock and Kraven.
True.
Is what I would go with.
I mean, Marvel can do whatever setup they want of it.
If you're gonna have a Sinister Six, the only person I feel has to be in there is Doc Ock.
You can make that the do you think Sinister Six movie.
This is way too early for this question, but I'm asking anyways. Odds we get a post-credit scene of Doc Ock.
That would be cool. That'd be awesome.
Basically, just Peter Parker being introduced to Because they're going to graduate. I'm assuming this takes place over the summer, so they might have another year of high school left.
Yeah.
Maybe the new internship is Doc Ock.
He was only a sophomore, wasn't he?
That's right.
So he's got junior and senior year still.
5 years has gone past. He's still a freaking junior.
Oh, God.
No, but they were also weren't they also gonna introduce the Green Goblin though?
I don't know
The
if they
Osborns. Were they gonna do that? Was that something?
No, I think it's something we talked about, but I don't think it's something that was like on pen hit paper for that.
Because we've talked about how they could introduce Harry. That was
here's an after credit scene for you then.
Okay.
You got like all of them in prison now. Mysterio, let's say we get Chameleon, and the other two, maybe even throw Shocker or Tinkerer in there. I would say more so Shocker. Mm-hmm. And you got someone come into the prison, just
and to break out Vulture and
I would say
Scorpion.
just start make a proposal to them, and all of a sudden like
it's Doc Ock.
Doc Ock, and you just kind of see the.
Or it's just a visitor in jail, and it's
that's what I'm saying. It's visiting, but then like trench coat, and underneath it, like what makes you what makes you qualify to lead us?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and then said something quippy about how he's smarter than the rest of them or something.
Yeah, there's also another one that's basically the X-Men are the X-Men are in an alternate universe. After Endgame, I don't know what they're going to do with that. How are they going to introduce X-Men?
Well, because they're talking they want to do an X-Men versus Avengers movie now.
They do.
Yeah.
Which I would think is fucking awesome.
Hell yeah. You wanted a whole, like, timeline of it, like the sort of the 10-year
which
thing.
I will say, the thing that's good for them is basically that it's good that Fox is doing Dark Phoenix then.
Yeah.
Because, spoiler for the comics if you haven't read it, the death of Jean Grey in Dark Phoenix Saga is referenced in Avengers vs. X-Men. So if they did Avengers vs. X-Men, even if it's a new Scott and they basically Ruffaloed everything.
Ruffaloed it.
Basically, that's what they would do. Like, hey, bye, here's your checks, here's your pink slips, get out of here. We're recasting you. They could start it up out of nowhere, and they could still use what happens in Dark Phoenix, depending on how bad.
I mean,
it is.
they kind of did that with the even the Norton ones. They sort of like, and I know it was only like a few seconds of film, but they used the Ang Lee filmography out of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, to me, I want to see how Dark Phoenix Saga is.
Yeah.
Before I start thinking we can build off of it.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Disney MCU. Any final thoughts on this before we move on?
I'm excited for Spider-Man Homecoming.
Can't wait for it. And
Far From Home.
I am so happy that they moved up the release date because Dave and I leave for Vegas on July 4th when it would come out. Now that it comes out 2 days before, we can go see it. We can review it before Dave and I leave for Vegas, which would be very, very great. And then when I come back, guess what is our movie of the week when I come back?
What?
Lion King.
Ooh.
And this week, I know we didn't see John Wick 3 this week because of
Tolkien.
Other podcasting. Yeah, Tolkien was, I think that was 2 weeks ago.
No,
that was with Detective Pikachu.
Was it? Oh, that was last week.
No, it was 2 with Detective Pikachu.
I don't know.
It was A Dog's Journey that we missed out on with Josh Gad and Dennis Quaid.
That's bad.
This week,
John Wick 3 and Dog's Journey.
This week, though, I will say, and I probably should have said this at the beginning of the podcast, but I'll say it here anyways. For sure, we're going to see Aladdin this weekend.
Oh, for sure.
There's a possibility, and I would really I would really like to try Brightburn, but I'm not going to push it. If Aladdin is the main goal,
yes.
But if I get Aladdin and Brightburn this weekend, oh shit, Ricky might be a happy boy. And apparently, the early reviews from Aladdin are like, the one article headline I saw was like, Aladdin review. It's shockingly positive. Oh my God, the reviews are shockingly positive because everyone was so down on it for some reason.
Yeah, I don't know why.
This is why we gotta just wait and give things a chance. Going back to the Batman segment, we gotta give things a chance, people. But this is where you guys come in. Let us know what you think down below in the comment section. Multiverse, no multiverse. Is Mysterio telling the truth? Is he not telling the truth? What's your weird theory? Let us know in the comments down below.